Don't you see, Butters? Teaching people to think of their brand just makes more people like them. This whole thing is wrong. They're telling you guys to reduce yourself into products.
Hey guys! So funny bumping into you.
Yeah, I mean, we all live here now, so not that funny.
We're just performers, instead of human beings.
He's right. Trying to make ourselves into a brand just turned us into products. We don't need to be a brand, do we?
We couldn't get jobs and we ran out of money. We ate chicken out of bowls and rode in big cars full of smelly people to something called work. Every day was a new nightmare.
Hey! You ever heard of a thing called privacy?
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. Will you two just shut up and go away?
Cereal! And yes! You have to pay for everything, Harry. Life is hard. Most people struggle.
I have red hair. I know struggle.
Park County Police Station, what's your emergency?
Yeah, the neighbors across the street are setting off fireworks and it's 10:30 at night.
Oh, is it the Prince of Canada and his wife who just want to be left alone?
Yeah, come on, honey. We don't need this place. Honey?
Just as the excitement over the initial storyboard leak was finally starting to die down, South Park enthusiasts stumbled upon something even more sensational. A second batch of supposed animation frames began spreading across platforms like Discord, Telegram, and even private Substack posts. This time, the quality was razor-sharp. There was no room for doubt, no way to dismiss it as fan-made content or tricky AI-generated images. These were authentic, clearly watermarked, color-coded, and highly incriminating. And somehow, the visuals were even more brutal than the original set.
How dare you, sir! My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy!
A now viral frame shows Meghan fully animated sitting on a throne made from shattered wine bottles, each tagged with failed brand ventures. Resting in her lap is the pearl Spotify bench, along with a scroll labeled Duchess of Influencing. Her eyes are replaced with pink dollar signs, and she is mid-speech shouting the word grace into a gold microphone, while a bored cartoon crowd looks at their phones. Another leak, possibly the most ruthless, shows Harry crouched on the floor of what seems to be a cartoon therapy room. Behind him is a banner that says "Still Spare." He is holding a large baby bottle labeled Validation, while an animated therapist writes notes under the title Crisis of Narrative. Even some of the show's harshest critics paused for a moment. This was not satire, this was character destruction.
What the hell? What did he just say? He victimized me! It's because I'm an ethnic woman! He can't do that! I'll see. Wait, you're ethnic? This is an outrage! We'll just see how he deals with my blue...
Fans totally lost it. One person on Reddit said they were expecting just another roast, but definitely not this, and then boom, within hours the new clips were all over TikTok, turned into motion edits with Oprah audio and dramatic violin in the background. It blew up, millions of views, comments everywhere. And here's the crazy part, these scenes weren't even in the teaser, which means someone on the inside held them back on purpose, and now they're leaking them right when it'll hit the hardest. And to top it off, an account on X that's all about entertainment scoops actually put up side-by-side shots of the watermarks from both leaks, and yet turns out they don't match. So this isn't just one rogue employee, we're talking about multiple insiders pulling strings.
If it's truly what we want, then we really can get away from it all. No more magazines and Netflix shows. We really can live a normal life. Yes, I'm sure you agree, Doc.
By the end of the day, hashtag Spoiled Sussex was climbing the trending charts. Influencer reactions were flooding feeds. Some were shocked, some were loving it, and a lot were just laughing at how this had turned into a full-blown cultural moment. This wasn't just some roast anymore, it had become a full-scale phenomenon. And what really hit hard, according to insiders, was that the leaks confirmed exactly what Archwell had been trying to brush off. This wasn't going to be a quick jab, this wasn't some throwaway joke. South Park was gearing up to burn it all down. The Rose rebrand, the mental health image, even Harry's leftover royal vibe, and with each leak getting bolder and more targeted, Meghan's team realized one thing without a doubt: the final episode hadn't even aired yet, but the fallout had already started, and behind the scenes the mood was shifting fast from panic to full-blown desperation.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. Will you two just shut up and go away?
The moment the new storyboard leaks hit the internet, Archwell reportedly snapped back into crisis mode, and this time insiders say it wasn't just stress, it was straight-up fury. Someone who's worked closely with Meghan's legal team said the second batch of images kicked off what they called a double-down protocol, meaning top lawyers were brought in within the hour. New cease and desist letters were quickly written up, and panicked emails were supposedly sent to both Comedy Central and South Park's production demanding explanations. But here's the catch: this wasn't like last time when they were just reacting to a teaser. This time they were dealing with real spoilers, clear detailed scenes that were allegedly pulled straight from the final episode, and that's when everything started to spiral.
This might be the smallest palace I've ever been in.
Because according to two people familiar with the post-production process, South Park's animators had already finished the final master version of the episode a full week before the leaks even surfaced, which means Meghan's legal team might have been sending out threats to stop a train that had already left the station. There was no pulling it back. One industry insider said clearly the episode was done, the network had it, and they were not changing a single frame. If anything, the legal pressure may have made things worse. Rumors started spreading in media circles that Meghan's legal team was using terms like targeted harassment and reputational harm in their messages, words that to the creators of South Park are basically an open invite. They live for this, a former Comedy Central executive explained. Pushing back does not scare them, it fuels them. They will literally write your threat into the script, and fans seem to understand that too.
We'll just have to find a way to make £50 billion on our own.
Within hours of news spreading about the latest legal action, the hashtag cease and desist Meghan started trending online, with people mocking the idea that a cartoon could be taken down just because it hurt someone's personal brand. TikTok users started acting out fake courtroom scenes showing Meghan demanding changes to the animation. One person joked that the next episode would show Meghan suing South Park and getting grilled by Eric Cartman, and that clip alone got over 1 million views. It's not that Meghan's team had no options, but none of them were great. Making a public statement could confirm the leaks were legit. Staying quiet meant the damage would just keep growing, and trying to counter it with positive press was already falling flat. Even friendly media outlets were said to be turning down story ideas, not wanting to risk being the next target for parody. One publicist put it like this: you can't fight shadows with spotlights. South Park lives in the shadows, they wait for you to walk into the light, then they make the spotlight bigger, louder, and meaner. So Archwell's lawyers did whatever they could. They sent the letters, they made the calls.
Hey, can you two keep it down?
Hey! You ever heard of a thing called privacy?
But behind the scenes, even the most experienced crisis teams were beginning to see that this wasn't just a public relations issue, it was a cultural one, and no stack of cease and desist letters was going to stop the next punchline from hitting. Especially when it seemed like the leaks weren't slowing down, they were only picking up speed. By the third day, it was obvious the situation had grown into something Archwell couldn't control. What started as a few teaser theories and storyboard leaks had turned into a full-scale meme war, and Meghan and Harry were getting crushed. TikTok turned into the main battleground. Dozens of creators were stitching together the leaked cartoon images with audio from the Oprah interview, podcast soundbites, and even Meghan's narration from her now shut down Spotify show. But it wasn't just about recycling old clips. Creators were putting together fake trailers for the episode that hadn't even aired yet, using the leaked scenes and intense dramatic music.
Jesus, what did they do to you?
One video titled Still Spare the Sequel pulled in over 2 million views in under 12 hours. At the same time on X, the hashtag Spoiled Sussex exploded. What started as a small Reddit joke turned into a top trending tag after big meme accounts started reposting the storyboard leaks with captions like they asked for privacy and got parroted instead, and the memes did not hold back. One image showed cartoon Meghan launching a perfume called Victim Number 5, while Harry held a gift bag labeled Emergency Rebrand Kit. Even fan pages that used to support them began switching sides. This is getting out of hand. One former Meghan fan account posted saying they wanted to defend her, but now it feels like even satire can't keep up. That post alone got almost 100,000 likes, and things weren't any better on Instagram.
What happened to your ring?
I gave it to the working people.
We're the working people.
Lifestyle influencers started referencing the leaks in cheeky reels, sipping rose and pretending to meditate through the public backlash. Even beauty vloggers jumped in, with one joking that Meghan's brand was giving cartoon chaos in a vintage bottle. And the worst part was that Meghan and Harry had no real way to fight back. The meme format was moving faster than any official story could keep up with, and every attempt to ignore it just made the joke feel even more real. Silence in this case wasn't strength, it was gasoline. Insiders said Archwell's digital team was completely blindsided. Sentiment reports that used to track negative trends in hours were now out of date within minutes. We couldn't keep up, one former staffer reportedly said. By the time we briefed Meghan on what was trending, it had already morphed into something even more off the rails. And the leaks weren't the only issue. People started rewatching the original South Park episode and posting side-by-side comparisons with the new images, and that's when it really hit the Sussex team. This wasn't just a sequel, it was a continuation. South Park was apparently turning Meghan and Harry into ongoing characters, which in cartoon logic means they're no longer just a trending topic, they're permanent part of the satire landscape. And for a couple so focused on controlling their image and narrative, that's the worst case scenario. They weren't being mocked for what they did anymore, they were being mocked for who they had become. And the worst part, according to social media buzz, was that more was still coming. More frames, more leaks, and supposedly even an entire scene.
How many more princes and his wives have to live in this nightmare?
As the memes kept spreading and the hashtag spoiled Sussex refused to slow down, insiders say Prince Harry started making a string of increasingly desperate phone calls from Montecito. Unlike Meghan, who was said to be fully locked in on legal strategies and managing brand fallout, Harry went for a more personal route. He reached out to old connections, people he used to trust, people who had helped him get through the chaos of the British press after stepping back from royal life, according to two sources close to the Sussex inner circle. Harry tried to reconnect with a former royal aide, someone who used to quietly guide him through private media deals and family tension. He also reportedly contacted a Netflix executive he'd once built a friendly relationship with during early project meetings with the platform, but he wasn't asking for press support or a new pitch. He just wanted advice, what to do, what not to say, how to get through this storm without making it worse. But this time no one got back to him. One source with ties to the royal family said the silence from the former aide wasn't out of spite. He's not ignoring Harry to be harsh, they explained. He's staying quiet because anything he says could turn into another headline, and no one in the royal orbit wants to be turned into a South Park joke again. The silence from the Netflix side was even more revealing, according to one Hollywood insider. Everyone is nervous. There's a real concern that getting too close to Meghan and Harry right now could hurt future deals. No one wants to be the next person animated. That's how unstable this situation has gotten.
I'm sorry, I need a drink.
Harry, for his part, was said to have taken the silence harder than anyone expected. The same insider claimed he was overheard telling a friend, "It feels like everyone's disappeared, no one will help us anymore." That sense of being abandoned reportedly turned into frustration. According to a second source, Harry even considered releasing his own personal statement separate from Meghan's team, something low-key, maybe posted on a small blog or newsletter, just to shift the tone and bring a little dignity back into the conversation. But when that idea was brought up inside the team, it was shut down right away. "It'll make you look weak," one advisor allegedly said, and worse, it would confirm the leaks are legit. So Harry was left with nothing except headlines, hashtags, and viral clips of a cartoon version of himself holding a baby bottle labeled validation. Even people who still felt for him kept quiet, not because they didn't care, but because they knew that any link to him right now could damage their own image. No one wants to end up as the next South Park target, which means Harry, once the bold prince carving his own path, is now standing completely alone in the dark. And based on what some insiders say about the rest of the leaked storyboard, the upcoming scenes won't just sting, they'll embarrass. As Harry's calls were ignored and Meghan's legal efforts fizzled out, the real damage started showing up where it matters most, on paper, in contracts and inside company Slack channels.
But now the prince is playing polo on the lawn.
We are here because privacy is a basic human right.
Multiple sources in both the entertainment and branding worlds now say that several major business partnerships connected to the Sussexes are quietly being rethought, and in some cases already dropped. The first big shock came from the wellness space. Two mid-level companies, one a skincare brand and the other a premium meditation app that had been deep in talks with Meghan's team, reportedly hit pause just days after the second wave of South Park storyboard leaks, and the reasoning wasn't vague at all. An email from a brand strategist leaked to a gossip site said it plainly working with Meghan Markle right now carries the risk of parody, ridicule, and viral memes. Clients want elegance, not chaos. But the most painful hit came from the streaming industry. Insiders now claim that one big platform, not Netflix, but a rival, had been developing a docu-style creative process series centered around Meghan, something blending wellness, soft branding, and aesthetic entrepreneurship. That project is no longer delayed, it's shelved, according to a producer who was loosely involved in early planning. An internal memo flagged satirical volatility as a major issue. In other words, no one wants their launch plans blown up by a cartoon roast before the trailer even goes live, and that's the exact nightmare Meghan's team is reportedly trying to manage, because this isn't just about one episode anymore. The story has spun out of control. The Sussex brand is now so closely linked with mockery that even potential partners are starting to see them as risks instead of assets.
Park County Police Station, what's your emergency?
Yeah, the neighbors across the street are setting off fireworks and it's 10:30 at night.
Oh, is it the Prince of Canada and his wife who just want to be left alone?
One luxury agency executive said it straight, they're not toxic exactly, they're just laughable, and laughable doesn't move product. Even the deals that once felt like guaranteed wins are now being stalled. Archwell's podcast team, which has been pitching a new show format after the Spotify fallout, is reportedly getting nothing but silence from studios that were once interested, and Meghan's wine line, even though technically separate from her personal brand, is said to be having a hard time landing top Influencers willing to promote it. One fashion blogger was overheard at a recent event saying, "I'm not going to be cartooned holding that bottle. The concern isn't about backlash anymore, it's about becoming a joke. No brand wants to end up as the next visual punchline." Meanwhile, Meghan's inner circle is reportedly divided. Some believe the only way forward is a full PR reset, starting with honesty and staying offline for a while. Others think it's already too far gone, that once you reach parody proof status you lose the ability to steer your own narrative forever. Either way, the damage is the same. Everything Meghan and Harry built through podcasts, publishing, and post-royal prestige is starting to crack under the weight of cartoon ridicule, and insiders say the next punchline might go further. It might name names. Back in London, the mood around the Sussex situation is completely different. While Meghan's team is said to be scrambling to find legal ground and protect the brand, the palace remains silent. No comments, no briefings, no anonymous tips to the press, nothing, just a smooth wall of quiet. And according to royal insiders, that silence is intentional. It's not indifference, it's strategy. One veteran royal reporter put it like this: if the palace didn't make a move after the Oprah interview, after the Netflix documentary, or after Spare, they're definitely not going to jump in over a cartoon. But that doesn't mean they're not watching or reacting, they just do it differently, quietly, and according to two palace sources, with just a little bit of satisfaction. It starts with Prince William. A royal aide who knows his schedule said he's been fully updated on the South Park situation, including the leaked storyboards and the online fallout, and his response was simple: a smirk. He didn't say a word, just that smirk. The aide said,
"Auntie Meghan, hello! Oh, I've missed you!"
in royal language. That smirk says everything. It's a silent "told you so." And it's not just William either. Staff inside both Kensington Palace and Clarence House are reportedly sharing memes. Yes, actual memes in closed WhatsApp chats. One favorite making the rounds is a still from the original South Park episode, edited with the caption, "Privacy please, unless you have brand deals." Even members of the royal court are said to be quietly enjoying the moment. None of it is public, and that's exactly the point. The monarchy doesn't react, they endure. They don't clap back, they wait. And now, with Meghan and Harry struggling under the weight of relentless satire, palace insiders say there's a growing sense that the couple is finally facing the outcome of their past media choices. This is karma, with a laugh track, one observer reportedly said. And while the palace officially denies any connection to South Park's content, rumors have lingered for months that former royal staffers, the kind who left quietly and without scandal, may have provided anonymous background to comedy writers and producers. Not direct involvement, just enough detail to give the satire more realism, tone, and nuance. And judging by the accuracy of the leaks, those quiet contributions may have hit their mark. What's even more telling is the silence from the royal rota, the traditional press corps that covers the monarchy. They haven't rushed to defend Meghan and Harry or condemn the show. There are no fiery op-eds, no emotional takes. Just the occasional neutral headline about the leaked storyboards, always written with a tone of interest, not concern. And according to insiders, that silence says everything.
Anyway, Meghan, you were saying Dorit's such a what?
What? No, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything, Dorit.
Well, I heard it somewhere.
The rota only steps in when the royal family wants to steer public perception. Their absence now sends a clear message: Buckingham has no interest in protecting or restoring the Sussex image. If anything, they're letting it unravel without raising a single white-gloved hand. And from what's being murmured inside palace walls, the verdict is unanimous. Meghan and Harry built a public identity by setting fire to the crown, and now they're learning what happens when the crown simply refuses to respond. Because silence, when used with precision, can echo louder than any cartoon, and the royal family has turned that silence into an art form. If anyone believed the ridicule would fade after a few viral clips and late-night punchlines, that hope collapsed the moment the larger comedy world jumped in. South Park didn't just throw a jab, they opened the floodgates. Now everyone from big-name comedians to rival animators is taking their turn. First came the late-night circuit, night after night, doubling down. Kimmel kept the pressure on, joking that Meghan's Rose has the same aftertaste as her podcast Forgettable, with hints of victimhood. Colbert followed with a fake ad for Still Spare Now with less dignity. Fallon joined in with a jab about a worldwide parody tour that had the crowd roaring, and it didn't stop there. Stand-up comics on streaming platforms began working Sussex jokes into their sets. One rising comic, during a Netflix special, opened with "You ever get dumped so hard by your royal family that cartoons start roasting you?" and the crowd laughed instantly. The joke didn't feel edgy anymore, it felt expected. On social media, parody accounts exploded. Duchess of Chardonnay picked up over 200,000 followers in a weekend, posting fake wine reviews like "pairs well with a strained marriage" and even more strained credibility. Another page, Still Spare Anonymous, began sharing fake diary entries from cartoon Harry and meme captions like "My trauma tastes better with oak." Even other animated shows couldn't resist. Intro 17. A popular adult cartoon on a rival network recently slipped in a quick background gag featuring two unnamed animated characters. one ginger, one brunette, selling organic wine while dodging paparazzi drones. The scene aired for less than 10 seconds, but fans caught it right away. Once the screenshot started spreading online, the implication was clear. The joke had jumped studios. And that's the real problem for Meghan and Harry. They're no longer being satirized in isolation. They've become a kind of cultural shorthand, a symbol of a specific kind of overexposed self-branding, which makes them open targets for anyone looking to get a laugh, cheap or clever. Sources close to Meghan say her team is painfully aware of how far the parody has spread. One Hollywood PR insider said Meghan's inner circle was advised to lay low for at least 2 to 3 weeks, hoping the noise might fade. But the noise just keeps getting louder. Behind closed doors, even top-level entertainment executives are now joking about getting South Parked. One anonymous studio head was reportedly overheard saying, "If they come for us, we'll just call it the Sussex treatment." That's how deep the mockery has sunk in. At this point, it's not just about being laughed at, it's about being laughed at by everyone. And when jokes about you stop being edgy and start being normal, that's when reputations truly shift. Because being the punchline of one joke is something you can survive. But when you become the default joke, that's cultural collapse. And for Meghan and Harry, it's happening in real time. With their image unraveling across screens, stages, and satire, Meghan's team knew they had to respond quickly. But with every move under scrutiny and instantly turned into a meme, the options were limited. If they responded too carefully, it would seem calculated. If they responded too emotionally, it could look unstable. So insiders say they chose a middle path, a surprise, simple Instagram live session. Something quiet and stripped down. A softer tone. A grateful message. Something human. Something real. At least, that was the idea.
Down with the monarchy! We deserve our privacy!
These people.
The live started without any warning, just Meghan's face in soft natural light, wearing a delicate gold necklace and a pastel sweater. She greeted viewers with a warm hi friends and spoke calmly about reflection, staying grounded, and finding strength in silence. At first, it seemed to be exactly what her team had hoped for, gentle, composed, and relatable. But then, things started to go wrong. Viewers began noticing lagging audio, random screen flickers, and the live chat freezing just as Meghan began talking about choosing kindness, even when others don't. Some thought it was just a bad internet connection, while others felt the timing was too uncanny to ignore. Regardless, the glitches broke the carefully crafted tone, and within minutes, screen recordings of Meghan frozen mid-sentence were circulating online and turning into fresh memes. One remix that quickly went viral layered in the South Park Worldwide Privacy Tour chant over the glitch, while another edit showed cartoon bees buzzing around her head labeled brand deals, legal threats, and pink wine. It was brutal. Then came a rumor, still unconfirmed but spreading fast, that members of the South Park team were watching the live in real time and already planning to parody it. One well-known podcast host with strong entertainment connections claimed they got a direct message from someone close to the animation team, saying the glitched livestream was too perfect not to spoof. Meghan's team reportedly cut the live session short, ending it after less than 12 minutes. But the damage had already been done. What was meant to be a moment of vulnerability and authenticity had backfired in spectacular fashion. The clips were already flooding timelines, commentary videos were going live, and the narrative had shifted, once again, from sympathy to straight-up satire. It was a Hail Mary, one Hollywood publicist remarked. But South Park doesn't just parody your words, they parody your timing. And this one felt served up on a silver platter. Even Meghan's most loyal supporters hesitated. Some offered quiet praise for her courage, but only with heavy disclaimers. Others stayed silent altogether, clearly reluctant to be swept into the next wave of meme-fueled mockery. And now, Meghan's team is left asking the hard question. If even a soft, apologetic livestream can be turned into a punchline, what can't be? One insider put it plainly, if you can't speak, and you can't stay silent. What's left according to leaks, Trey Parker already has an answer, and it's allegedly animated, voiced, and sitting in the final cut. By now, everyone knew South Park wasn't backing down. But what stunned the entertainment world was just how gleefully Trey Parker and Matt Stone leaned into the controversy. The duo has always had a reputation for pushing boundaries, but this time they seemed more than unbothered, they were energized. At the recent Colorado Creators Festival, where they made a surprise appearance on a panel about satire in the streaming era, Trey reportedly dropped a line that sent murmurs through the room. "If leaks scare you," he said with a crooked grin, "wait till you see what didn't."
Ooh, remind me to tell them the story about when I bought milk.
I think you just told it.
The audience erupted. It wasn't subtle. Everyone knew exactly who Trey was referring to. And just like that, a new wave of chaos started building. Not just around what had already leaked, but what might still be waiting in the wings. Was there more? Had South Park intentionally held back the harshest parts? Were the leaks just bait? Speculation spread like wildfire. And sources close to the show say yes, there's a lot more. One insider claimed the scenes that surfaced were just the opening act. The most savage parts, they said, center around a recurring fantasy sequence where Meghan imagines herself as a misunderstood historical figure, only to be repeatedly interrupted by cartoon versions of Spotify, Netflix, and Archwell staff handing her notes that say "return to sender." It's layered, the source said. It's ridiculous. It's brutal. And it's hilarious now, with the episode reportedly finished and ready to air. There's nothing Meghan or Harry can do. Multiple entertainment lawyers have confirmed South Park is fully protected under parody law. This isn't defamation, one Los Angeles attorney explained. This is satire, and it's bulletproof. And when the creators are publicly mocking you during live interviews, you've already lost the narrative. Even Comedy Central seems all in. Network execs were reportedly thrilled with the teaser's performance. And now, thanks to the viral leaks, the botched livestream, and Trey's smirking one-liner, the pre-release hype is off the charts.
There were highs and lows. It's all good. Anyway, see you guys at tea. Come on, Harry.
Rumors are spreading that the episode might even be moved up in the schedule to take full advantage of the buzz. For Meghan and Harry, this is the absolute worst-case scenario. Not only have their efforts to shut down the mockery failed, but now the creators are teasing that even harsher jokes are on the way. It's a marketing move executed perfectly, and audiences can't get enough. South Park fans on Reddit have already launched a countdown clock, trying to predict the air date based on the timing of leaks and past season patterns. YouTubers are flooding the platform with theory videos. Even reporters who usually steer clear of animated content are weighing in, analyzing Trey's "what didn't leak" comment like it's a classified briefing. This isn't just a roast anymore, it's become a full-blown spectacle. And whether Meghan likes it or not, she's at the center of it all. Because when the show's creators step out from behind the scenes to throw fuel on the fire, the original narrative you hoped to control is long gone. And according to those in the know, the spotlight's coming on one more time.
Over, under, around and through. Meet Mr. Bunny Rabbit Pool and through! I did it!
Good job, Harry.
Now comes the question no publicist, no brand strategist, and no palace aide can answer. What do Meghan and Harry do next? Because this isn't just another media storm to weather, it's a seismic cultural shift. Their once meticulously curated narrative has been cracked wide open, turned into a caricature, and handed back to the public as punchline. And that kind of damage isn't fleeting. It stains. The leaked storyboards, the glitched livestream, the growing chorus of late-night hosts and animators piling on. It all signals one thing, a loss of control. Not just over headlines or public opinion, but over the very meaning of their image. Meghan and Harry aren't leading the conversation anymore. They are the conversation. And worse, they're no longer authors of their own story. The audience is writing it for them, and laughing while doing it. Sources say Archwell is scrambling behind the scenes, holding back-to-back emergency strategy sessions. But how do you reframe a narrative when every word, gesture, or silence is instantly twisted into parody? When even saying gratitude and grace becomes a viral meme within minutes. Some advisors are reportedly recommending a full blackout, no public appearances, no interviews, no statements, for at least 90 days. Let the South Park wave crest and crash. Let the internet move on. But others are pushing back, warning that going quiet would be seen as surrender, a tacit admission that they've lost the battle for their public identity. A white flag in a war of optics and influence they can't afford to lose. And in a world where silence can speak louder than words, doing nothing might be just as dangerous as doing anything at all.
We couldn't get jobs and we ran out of money. We ate chicken out of bowls and rode in big cars full of smelly people to something called work. Every day was a new night.
Meanwhile, brand analysts are crunching the numbers and the outlook isn't good. Engagement is down, conversions are down, and even curiosity is tapering off, not because people don't care, but because they feel like they already know the ending, and that's the real danger now. Not scandal, not mockery, but indifference, because at the beginning of all this Meghan and Harry still had people in their corner cheering for their break from tradition, supporting their fresh start, believing in the mission. But now, even their most devoted followers are going quiet, not out of betrayal, but out of exhaustion, the kind that sets in when a public figure becomes too visible, too rehearsed, too easy to predict.
Hey guys! So funny bumping into you.
Yeah, I mean, we all live here now, so not that funny.
One entertainment journalist put it best: there's a difference between being controversial and being cartoonable, and once you cross that line it's nearly impossible to climb back, especially when you've been turned into a recurring character. South Park didn't just cross that line for Meghan and Harry, it animated it, gave it a punchline, and handed it to the world on a loop, and now all eyes are fixed not just on the episode itself but on what comes after, because in the wake of satire that sharp, the fallout isn't measured in headlines, it's measured in legacy.
Meghan. Why did you move back here anyway?
It was ultimately a tough call, but there were a lot of factors to consider.
Will Meghan try to shift course again, maybe this time leaning into sincerity, or even choosing complete silence? Will Harry quietly step away from the spotlight, worn out and feeling alone? Will Archewell finally admit the current approach isn't working, or will they double down once more and walk headfirst into another media storm? We can't say for sure, and maybe neither can they, but one thing's certain: when a cartoon tells your story more effectively than your PR team, you're no longer guiding the narrative, you've become the character everyone else is narrating. Drop your thoughts below, like, subscribe, and stick around. The next video is on the way, and you won't believe what's coming.